Now, it's less than a year until the World Cup in Brazil gets underway, with 600,000 tourists expected to go there for the football, of course, as well as the carnival atmosphere. And in Brazil, business is booming, but there's concern. It's only widening the gap between the rich and the poor. In a series of special reports for Daybreak, former EastEnders star Joyner travelled nearly 6,000 miles to Sao Paulo, the richest city in South America, to find out how the World Cup is affecting the 40 million people living below the poverty line.
Sao Paulo is the largest city in South America, home to more than 11 million people, and next year it will host the opening match of the World Cup. There is a huge divide between the rich and the poor. Over 1,000 families live in Eletro Paulo, a favela built around the pylons.
This is Vanderlaan and his family. There are 17 of them living here, and they've built their individual rooms around here for the whole of the family. There's sister-in-laws, brothers, and they live with a pylon right in the centre of it all.
Rosalie has 5 children and owns her own home here. Her dream is simple: for her children not to live in a favela.
I want them to have a better future. My hope is that they're able to study, that they can work. I wouldn't want them to be still living here.
The World Cup is said to be costing Brazil £9 billion, money Brazilians think would be better spent on helping its citizens.
These people are from one of the main housing movements in the city. There are 3. There's thousands of them going up to join each other today. They live in occupations and favelas all over the city to campaign today for better social housing, for a better quality of life in Sao Paulo. It says, we don't want to occupy, we want to live.
Over the last 2 months, millions of Brazilians have taken to the streets in this way.
We have FIFA standard soccer stadiums. We want FIFA standard hospitals. We want a FIFA standard schools.
For the millions living in the favelas, their goal is simple: to find a safe place to call home.
Well, Joe is here now. Joe, that was a really powerful report. We saw there a lot of protests going on. How well organised are they? What else will they be trying to do?
That was what, apart from the deep contrast, what overwhelmed me the most, actually, was how they're trying to live these ordinary lives. I mean, living in these ramshackle, slums are chambermaids, electricians, these are a lot of the workers of the city who are paying towards this stadium and everything else that's being built. And they have got really organised networks, housing networks and communities. It's something that CAFOD is supporting them to help themselves with. So the occupations, which are the tower blocks that are taken over, which you'll hear more about during the week, in order just to occupy a tower block, it's not just ad hoc squatting. They have to, their building has to have been empty for over 5 years. They have to make an application. Then they get the community together. They have to clear this derelict building out before they move in. They have a strict set of rules to live there. They're incredibly organised people, and they've got a big battle on their hands. I mean,
because we saw the people living in the favelas, they call them there. They could be evicted. So where do they go?
Yeah, well, it's like you were saying, it's a bit like China. The UN have got together and they're keeping an eye on all these countries that have, like ourselves, when we had the Olympics coming, when you've got the World Cup, the Commonwealth, Games coming, these human things have to be taken into account, and they're moving them sort of 20, 30 miles outside the city.
Right.
If they are rehousing them. They're giving them a shack there, but they're not, there's no hospitals, there's no infrastructure, there's no jobs, there's no schools. So it's pretty useless to them. So what they're campaigning for is social housing further in the city that's useful to them, that's helpful and that they can afford. Or they're not giving them a place at all. They're just...
Fascinating insight. We're going to learn a lot more about it during the week. We really appreciate you coming in, Joe, and highlighting this really important issue.
Right. Have a look on CAFOD website and the Daybreak website.
And you'll be back with us tomorrow, won't you?
I will.
Thank you.
Looking forward to that.
Indeed.